So 322, today we're talking about some standouts in yesterday's matchup between Florida and Carolina. And so Carolina avoids the sweep and played a really great game. This is their best game of the series so far. Really detailed game, all around great effort, very structured effort. And they were controlling play for a majority of the game. And I think with Carolina, they were able to stick to their structure with their forecheck and their play in the neutral zone and their F1, F2 play on their forecheck as well. I think with Carolina, they essentially played the game that Florida would typically play in the first few games, and they just kind of counteracted it and threw it back in their face in this game. And they did a great job of it. They were very consistent in their checking, very aggressive in their pinches. Their D were pinching down the walls. I remember there was a play early in the game where Brent Burns pinched down the wall, all the way down the wall aggressively, and there was a two on one rush the other way. I think if Carolina was afraid to play free in this game, then they would be mitigating themselves offensively. And really, they had nothing else to lose. They're already down 3-0 in the series. I mean, what else could you lose except the game and the series? And I think this allowed Carolina to play a little bit more free in terms of their game. And they were able to just be less in their heads. And I think that was very helpful. They're going to go back to Carolina and potentially force a game six, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out now. I think if Carolina is able to play the game five like they did game four, then they're going to be still in this series. And Florida is obviously a tough task, very tough team. But if Carolina continues to play the way that they did in the last game, then they're going to have a lot of success. I think with Florida, they just didn't have much going. And you could really tell Sam Reinhart being there left more of a hole in this game. I think the last game and the first game he was out, you didn't really notice he was out because Florida still played really well. But this last game with him out, you could definitely notice it a little bit more. And their top guys weren't as effective. And I think with Florida, it's just one bad game, and this is probably the worst game that they've played all playoffs long, and they've only had one bad game, and it's a rarity and rare occurrence for them to have that. I think pretty regularly. They're a consistent offensive team and they're a consistent team in all situations. And so I think with the way Carolina plays and the way they have their structure, the way they have the forecheck, they can certainly force a game six. There's certainly potential in my mind. And one of the best guys in this game was Logan Stankoven. And I thought he was really effective, just played a great game, was all around very effective and was really noticeable in all situations. Had a goal and a really nice pass from Alexander Nikishin, who got his first NHL point on that goal. Really nice backhand pass over to the weak side to Stankoven. Stankoven comes in on the entry outside the dot lane and then fires a shot and fires it top shelf to put Carolina up. And I believe that was the goal to put Carolina up 1-0. And that was their first lead of the series at that time. So there was great all around effort, and their top guys were their top guys too. Seth Jarvis was noticeable. Jordan Stahl was noticeable. He also had a goal, even though it was an empty netter. Andres Svechnikov was noticeable. Sebastian Aho was noticeable. Like all these guys were really effective at 5-on-5, and they needed those guys to be effective at 5-on-5 if they wanted to stay alive in the series. So I think it was a great display of skill, resilience, and will from the Carolina Hurricanes, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they come back in Game 5 in Carolina.